Welcome to our channel, everyone. I hope everybody is doing great and keeping safe. Did you guys know that the temporary foreign workers are exempt from the COVID-19 travel restrictions? In this video, we're going to speak about this and tell you exactly how you can come to Canada as a temporary foreign worker. Stay tuned. First of all, a disclaimer. My name is Aman. I'm a registered consultant with Immigration Canada. And in this video, all the information I'm going to provide you is just for the purpose of knowledge and information only. This is not a legal advice. If you want any legal advice for your immigration from my team, you can write as an email. I will leave the email link in the description section down below. Alright, so let's start with the video by saying most of you already know that the Canadian borders are closed for non-essential travel, but there are certain exemptions. If you are a Canadian citizen, if you're a permanent resident in Canada, or you're a family member of a citizen or a permanent resident, you can come to Canada anytime. Or if you have a valid study permit from a DLI institute, designated learning institute, which has a COVID preparedness program in place, you can come to Canada. Or if you are a temporary foreign worker with a valid work visa, you can come to Canada as well. In this video, we're going to speak mainly about the temporary foreign workers and the people who have the work permits. So to come to Canada under the temporary foreign worker program, what do you basically need is a job offer letter from your employer who is going to ask you to come to Canada, and a letter of introduction. Now, a letter of introduction is not your work permit or the job offer or the LMIA. It's a separate document which IRCC would provide you when you are applying for the work permit online. So this is the letter which is going to be different than any other immigration paperwork. So you need it. Make sure that you have it if you're planning on flying to Canada anytime soon. Then you need a visitor visa. In your situation, it's going to be a work visa and a valid medical exam. All right, so make sure that you do your medical examination beforehand, and when you do a medical examination, the panel physicians or the hospital you're getting it done from, they're going to give you a piece of paper which would have the reference ID for the medical exam. It will not show any of your medical results, but it will only give you a reference number. Obviously, that reference number will refer to the actual medical results in the immigration system. So let's talk about the work permits which will make you eligible to come to Canada under the temporary foreign worker program. The first one is a work permit which you will receive after getting a LMIA. So LMIA is Labor Market Impact Assessment, which is basically a document given by the Employment and Service Development Canada Department saying that if you hire this person from outside Canada, he is not going to impact the Canadian job market negatively, basically saying that you will not be replacing a job which will be done by a Canadian person. This is a job which no Canadian person was found to be able to do, so that's why the employer wants to bring you in. And the other ones is getting an open work permit. So later in the video, I'll explain you who can be eligible to get an open work permit. But first, let's speak about the LMIA and the LMIA exceptions. So it's easier to say that if an employer wants to bring somebody from outside Canada, he needs to apply for a labor market impact assessment. But there are certain situations which make an employee and an employer eligible to bypass that requirement and give a job offer directly. So on your screen, you're going to see a list of reasons which will make the job offer LMIA exempt. The first one is if the employee can demonstrate that you will significantly benefit Canada socially or culturally. So basically, if you are doing any kind of social activity or culturally you are going to benefit Canada, you can apply. This basically comes under the self-employed category. So I made a different video about this whole program, and I'm going to leave the link for that in the description section, and you will see it somewhere on the top of the screen as well. Or if you are a part of a reciprocal employment agreement, such as a Canada-US-Mexico agreement. Now we call it CUSMA. It used to be called NAFTA before, wherein that if you are in Mexico or if you're in US and you want to come to work here in Canada on certain NOC code and on certain job positions, you wouldn't need an LMIA. So I know a lot of people who came from Mexico on an LMIA exempt job offers, but the problem in those situations is you can only work for that specific employer for the specific period of time. And there are other such agreements with different countries and different regions in the world as well. So you can check with a good immigration consultant, or you can check with my team as well, that if you are eligible for any of these programs. The next one is if you intend to carry out charitable or religious work. So those people are going to be exempt from getting an LMIA. If you are an entrepreneur or self-employed person looking to start or run a business in Canada, this is going to tie up to the first point as well. So if you want to see that video, link is in the description section down below. If you are transferring within your company, so that's called intra-company transfer. So if you have you're working for a company in another country which has a branch in Canada, and there are restrictions on what level of job you need to have, and there are other conditions as well, which again you can check with our team if you're eligible to apply in this program. But if you have the same company in your home country and the same company over here, and you are in a good position in the company, you can actually ask that company to transfer you over to the Canadian office as well. And the next is if you are a dependent of a foreign worker in Canada. So if your spouse has a work permit in Canada, you can also apply for an LMIA exempt work permit. If you are an academic, so if you are a visiting professor or guest lecturer, basically those people would come here for maybe doing a few sessions in a university or any other educational institutes, and so in that case they wouldn't need a LMIA from the ESDC. And the last one is if you have been nominated by a province to work in Canada. So that again is going to be a special situation wherein a province requires you to come and work for a specific period of time, and with that province approval we can apply for a work permit, which will be an LMIA exempt work permit. Alright, so now that you know that there are different type of work permits which require an LMIA, and there are certain situations where you can get the work permit which doesn't require an LMIA, then what do you really need to do to apply for a work permit? The very first thing you need is to get a job offer from a Canadian employer, because that is where everything starts. So once you have that job offer, then we will see that if it's an LMIA required or an LMIA exempt work permit situation, and then we'll apply for the LMIA, or we will apply directly for the work permit. So that's the second step, and the third step is of course applying for your work permit, and there is a long list of documents which are required along with your job offer, along with your passport, along with your police certificates and any previous employment information. So there is a complete checklist which we will make sure that we submit if you do the application through us. So let's ask the most important question is, do you really need a job offer to apply for a work permit? The answer is yes, except in a situation if you are applying for an open work permit, which we're going to speak next. If we do not have the ability to apply for an open work permit, the only option is to get the job offer, then apply for the LMIA or LMIA exemption, and then go apply for a work permit. So now another important topic: what are open work permits and who can actually apply for that? In an LMIA work permit or an LMIA exempt work permit, most likely you will be in a situation that you will only come to Canada to work for the specific employer for a specific period of time. You cannot change the employer, because that will be considered a breach of your work permit, and that will put you in a situation that you might not be able to apply for a work permit ever again. So be very careful that if you have an LMIA work permit, make sure that you work with the employer unless there are problems with the employer, and there are definitely ways to get out of that agreement and apply for another work permit with an LMIA or an open work permit. So now for the open work permit, on your screen you're going to see all the options which will make you eligible to apply for an open work permit. The first one is that if you are an international student who just graduated from a designated learning institute and are eligible for a post-graduation work permit. So that is the post-graduation work permit is going to be an open work permit, and depending upon how long your study period was, it's going to be either a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year open work permit. Okay, usually if you go for a 2 year post-graduation program, you get a 3 year work permit. And I always recommend that if you're coming to Canada for studies and you're serious about studies, go for a 2 year program, postgraduate program, then get a 3 year work permit. That's always going to be enough time for you to find a NOC 0A B category job, which will make you eligible to apply for your permanent residency under the Canadian Experience class later on. And if the second one is if you are a student who is no longer able to meet the cost of your studies, so this is a special case in which the Canadian government would allow you to apply for an open work permit. A lot of people do not make use of this feature, but now it's available. Now you know about it. If you want to apply under this program, give us a shout. The third one, if you have an employer specific work permit and you are being abused or at a risk of being abused in relation to your job in Canada. This is exactly what I was saying about the LMIA and job employer specific job offer. So if you are running into these kind of problems with your employer, you do have the option of applying for an open work permit. But in this situation, we need to prove that you are being abused or you are at risk of being abused. Okay, the next one, if that you have applied for a permanent residency in Canada. So if you are in Canada and you have applied for a permanent residency, a lot of time the PR files would go on for months and months. Sometimes it goes over a year, and in that time, if your application for PR is in process, you'll be able to apply for an open work permit and you can work in Canada while waiting for getting your permanent residency. The next, if you are a dependent family member of someone who applied for a permanent residence. So that's when you're less than 22 years of age and then your parents have applied for a permanent residency, you will be able to apply for an open work permit. The next one is that if you're a spouse or a common law partner of a skilled worker or international student. So this is something which I see being used a lot by the international students and their spouses. They can come to Canada and study for a 2-year program. Again, there are requirements in relation to how long your program has to be and where exactly is it a DLI institute or not. That will make or break this open work permit. In certain situations, even if you are an international student, your spouse might not be able to apply for an open work permit. So we be very careful and make sure that you know this requirement before you make this application. The next is if you are a spouse or a common law partner of an applicant of the Atlantic Immigration Pilot Program. The last is that if you're a refugee claimant, or a protected person, or the family of any of these. So in that situation, you will be applying for an open work permit. Alright everyone, so now that you know that you can definitely come to Canada as a temporary foreign worker, even if there is travel restrictions because of pandemic. There are certainly exceptions in cases like at the moment there are no flights allowed to come to Canada from India and Pakistan. Until those flight restrictions are lifted, you obviously cannot come from those countries. But otherwise, if you are in another country and if you are in India or Pakistan and you can apply for the temporary foreign worker program after the travel restrictions are lifted, you will be more than welcome to come to Canada and work under any of the either LMIA stream or open work permit stream. So make sure that you know the process before you start your application. And I always tell people that beware of scammers. If you know me and know my channel, I put in a couple of videos regarding how to identify a fake offer letter and a fake LMIA. Believe me when I tell you that I've received over 100 emails from different people showing their work orders, showing their offer letters and LMIA. And from those more than 100 emails I've received, I can tell you that only 3 or 4 has been verified to be correct, and most of them were actually fake offer letters, and they're very easy to identify now that I've seen so many of them. And again, one more tip which I haven't told in that video is that if you ever get a work permit or an LMIA, or even I've seen fake visas on your passports, and some people given a person a visa on a piece of paper as well. Go to Google and search for the Canadian Embassy email address in your country, and you can actually send them these documents and they will verify those documents for you. That's one thing if you want to verify the job offer from the company. And if you feel like, and if there is a website and there is a legitimate email address, you can actually send the email them an email as well, or you can pick up a phone and call their HR office as well. And very likely, if it's a fake offer letter, they're going to straight away tell you that yes, we have never provided an LMIA and offer letter to anyone. The company using our name is definitely fake. So beware. Learn the rules, understand how it's going to be done. Most of the work permits and offer letters and all of these cases would require you to do your IELTS scores to show your language abilities. And one common thing I've seen with people who are being victims of these scams is that they haven't done their IELTS test. So basically, they don't really know what the process is. So they just think that if I pay somebody money, I'm going to be able to get an offer letter and can go to Canada. It doesn't work that way. Learn the process, learn the requirements of the process, and see that if you fulfill this process. So if you actually get in touch with our team, this is exactly how we operate. So we'll show you the process. We'll tell you that these are the requirements, and you will know that if you fulfill these requirements or not. All right. So if you want our team's help to make your dream to come to Canada true, you want to apply a work permit, and you want to get our team to help you find a job, reach out to us. The email address is in the description section down below. I'll also leave my link to my Facebook account and Instagram account in the description section. Reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help out to you. And if you like the content I'm providing in my videos, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, because that's really required for us to grow into the YouTube algorithm, so that more and more people can benefit from these videos and the content we are providing. And that's about it. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, please. I know the times are hard and there is a lot of bad things happening around everyone, and I pray for people who have lost their family members as well. It saddens me that a lot of governments are not doing their part, and a lot of people are not doing their parts in saving everyone else. I can only say that it's something which if we want to win in this situation, we have to do it together. So stay together by staying apart, keep wearing your masks, and stay safe, please. Thank you very much.